Now, this meeting will be offering live interpretation in Spanish during this meeting. If you wish to hear Spanish interpretation, please click on the interpretation button at the bottom right of your Zoom screen. You'll see the globe icon. If you're joining via the Zoom smartphone app, select your language by clicking More on the three dots on the bottom of the right corner of your screen. Select Language Interpretation, then choose Spanish and click Done. If you wish to hear only the interpreters and not the original speakers, be sure to click Mute in the original audio. Everyone, whether you speak English or Spanish, must choose the language. Do not state in the default off if you wish to participate in the meeting. Esta reunión está siendo grabada. Si no quiere ser grabado o salir en pantalla, en este momento debe apagar su video. Estamos ofreciendo interpretación al español durante esta reunión. Si desea escuchar la interpretación al español, haga clic en el botón de interpretación en la parte inferior derecha de la pantalla de Zoom. Verá un icono en forma de globo terráqueo. Si nos está acompañando a través de la aplicación de Zoom para smartphone, seleccione su idioma haciendo clic en la palabra que dice More o más en los tres puntos en la esquina inferior derecha de la pantalla. Seleccione Language Interpretation, interpretación del idioma, luego elija Spanish y haga clic en donde dice Done, listo. Si desea escuchar solo a los intérpretes y no a los oradores, asegúrese de hacer clic en Mute Original Audio, silenciar el audio original. Todas las personas hablen inglés o español deben elegir un idioma, no se quede en la posición de apagado predeterminada. Adelante, we're ready, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mariana. Welcome everybody to our last evening with admins of this school year. I'm Roxy, I'm the secretary. Our president Peggy could not be here tonight, so she asked me to step in. We want to thank the admins, Dr. Sharetta and Principal Trackus and Principal Bowders for being here tonight and for all the meetings. This year, they've helped to connect the community, and we're really happy that we're able to collaborate on this. We have 1 hour scheduled, so we want to get started. But before we do, I wanted to let everyone know that Friends, your PTO, has several positions open for next school year, for the next cycle. And we'll be holding elections in June. So please consider joining our board. It's a lot of fun. We're the fundraising arm. We raise money for staff support and cultural events and a lot of great things that benefit our kids. So you'll be receiving an email with the board form and some information, the interest form, and also it will be posted on our social media and on our website. So please consider joining our board and email us if you have any questions. And with that being said, I will turn it over to the admins. Thank you.
Thank you, Roxy. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I wanted to just say thank you to Friends for staying on, keeping us on a course of holding these every month for the past year. It seems like time flew by, and before we knew it, it felt like we were doing one of these a week, but it was great to just keep in a rhythm and keep the community informed and interact with folks. So especially when we're all distanced. We have a pretty full docket this evening, and we want to give some opportunity for questions. So I'm going to just hit on a couple points quickly and then move to the principals because they have some items to address. First of all, if you're looking into June, the board meeting for the AEA Board of Trustees is the 22nd of June. It's pushed back because we have a heavy lift in terms of budget and some other items that we work on to finish out the year. So if you look on the calendar, scroll forward another week and you'll see the 22nd is our next meeting. Undoubtedly, folks are paying attention to vaccines and the fact that now Pfizer and Moderna have been indicated to be safe for individuals, younger individuals 12 and up. I am clearly not an epidemiologist and not qualified to speak on the topic at all this evening in terms of the pros and cons of that. But I will tell you that we are hosting a vaccine clinic on our middle school campus on June 2nd from 3 to 5 p.m. It is available, and this is through the County of San Diego. So they're handling the whole thing. We're just offering the space and the publicity for it. Ages 12 and up. So if that's something that folks are interested in, June 2nd, 3 to 5 p.m. Folks, if you want to get your child vaccinated and they're a minor, you need to they need to be accompanied by an adult guardian. And then at that date, they'll give you follow-up information about the second dosage. So I think that's good news, and we want to really help out the neighborhood surrounding the middle school as well. The last thing I just wanted to touch on related to the board is that I know that there have been some questions kind of swirling in social media about the board's decision at the last meeting on learning loss mitigation funds and allocating some of those funds for COVID stipends for staff. I think the board was pretty clear in their rationale at the last meeting and the backup for the appropriateness of their decision. It's also important to note that I don't believe the board would have taken a decision to expend monies that way if it had come at the cost of services for students. And we're using a significant amount of learning loss mitigation and other federal monies for our 2-3 week summer school sessions that the principals are going to speak about in more detail in a couple minutes. So just wanted to clarify that. So with that, I think we'll move to Principal Bowders, and she's going to talk about just a quick update on where things stand right now in phase 3, and then talk about the summer school piece for elementary.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining tonight. First thing I want to just talk about is our phase 3, and I think we've met since then. I can't recall. I think we already, all the students were back, but we do have our 630 so students who are attending in-person hybrid. So they're coming through our doors throughout the week, and that has been quite successful. You know, we can't say it enough. It's great to see the kids back. Hold on, that's my dog. Sorry. Sorry. Knock at the door. Gets a new dog. Chihuahua's getting a little feisty over there. So we have our kids back. I think the challenges with that have been just really following the COVID decision tree about when there are any kind of symptoms that come on campus, and that we really are mandated to follow the protocols around that decision tree. And so I think we can both say, as long as, you know, if the kids are having symptoms and they come to school, you will get a call from the health tech about that, because we do need to have the protocols, and we are able to provide rapid tests for kids who need them. So that is one area that we have been another big area of learning for us, but our front office staffs have been really good at following up and really following through with families. And so as we move ahead, we are 3 weeks left. And so we want to still have fun with the kids. We're going to have another spirit day. Dress as your favorite character is going to be, I think, not this week, the next week, but that information will come out from teachers. We have a family fitness day that's going to be coming out. Coach Nassif and Tickle will be organizing that. You'll have information on that. We have our 5th grade promotion to look forward to. That will be on June 16th. It's the Wednesday. It'll be similar to last year's promotion. And whereas we will be doing a kind of walk up to the front of the campus, teachers will be there to greet. They will all be on one day, though. They're going to schedule out the classes throughout the 16th, and they'll have the balloon arches and some music and photographers and a swag bag for the kids as they get their certificates from their teachers. And so 5th grade parents look forward to more information on that. We are in the midst of MAP testing in grades 3rd through 5. That is the alternative to the California standards tests that the CASP that we've been taking in years past that were actually canceled last year. So we were able to actually choose a a benchmark or assessment that didn't have to be the state mandated one, but we've chose MAP testing, which is the NWEA testing that we've done for years now on both campuses. And since both schools are familiar with that, the students have already had tested virtually, so we knew the capacity and the technology needed to make that happen. So we are moving ahead with MAP testing, and so I think all grades have even begun that in the 3rd through 5th. And finally, we are doing some final prep for our summer school. We have, looked at staffing, and what we're able to do is we do have our 2 3-week sessions. They will be by teacher recommendation for needs of academics, socio-emotional, and both. So teachers are going to be making those recommendations, and we will be sending out that parent survey to see if they want to participate, and then going after the recommendations from just more teacher input. And if you're a parent who really wants your child to be considered, please reach out to your teachers and let them know that you'd like your child to be considered for the summer school program. We have staffing limitations, so we were not, unfortunately, able to open it up to everybody who wanted to participate. I think that's been always a challenge, is to make sure we have staff that are qualified to, give as high quality service as we can. We have the parameters of those who really want to participate. It is not mandated in their contracts. So, but we do have a good group. And so we will be at the elementary offering incoming grades 1 through 5. Our 5th graders will be part of the middle school program. So they'll get their dip their toe in at the middle school and have a little introduction there. So that'll be exciting for them. It is a Monday through Friday program. We'll be focusing on academics from the 8 to 12. So it's 4 hours. And then in incoming grades 3 through 5, we're able to offer a enrichment hour if students choose to stay for that enrichment hour. And the things that we'll be focusing on, it looks like there's going to be some photography, some art classes, and we're still finalizing what those enrichments, but they will stay in their stable cohorts. We're not mixing the students, and we're keeping the cohorts right now at 14. We are waiting to hear more information on June 15th, if there's any changes that we can make to that. Okay, I think that's it for me right now. I'll pass it on over to Principal Trackus.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to share with everyone, we're experiencing a really great week of MAP testing this week with our kids. We decided to, rather than to have 1 or 2 days of heavy testing, we want to be able to avoid screen fatigue and test fatigue for our kids. So we chunked it out during the course of a week with plenty of opportunities for makeups after that. Things have been working very, very well. Again, our mission for all of us at the middle and elementary is to help talk to our kids and develop the why about testing and putting your best foot forward, and just looking at it as an opportunity to give it your best, give it 100%, leave the building knowing that you did all you could to give it your best. And at the same time with MAP testing, it's great because we've already had an established benchmark in the fall and the winter. And now as we continue with MAP testing, it also gives us the opportunity to have real-time feedback. So our kids don't have to wait 3 or 4 months before they get the results. Sometimes they get the results same day. So we're really excited in talking with the kids and asking them about how they felt about testing. Nothing but positive reviews from our kids. So we hope that we're going to have another 2 days of MAP testing, great MAP testing with our kids. Last week we had Spirit Week, which was fun for all. Sometimes I think it's funner for our teachers, but great time yesterday. Thank you very much to Mr. Diaz, who helped put that together for us. And as we come down, to the fourth quarter, to the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter in our year this year, which has been very, very trying for us all. we can't forget about celebrating our kids and celebrating our kids at the highest level. And we've been working hard to be able to plan a promotion for our kids, for our 8th graders that will be leaving us. And we're going to have a flyer that it may already be out, but it'll be coming out this evening about the details of June 16th's 8th grade luncheon, a catered luncheon for our 8th graders that gives an opportunity for our 7th and 8th grade teachers as well to be able to spend time, a few hours with the kids. And unfortunately, we didn't have a chance to have a yearbook this year because of COVID and everything that happened, but we've purchased a beautiful journal book that's embossed with the AEA and give our kids an opportunity to be able to write things in them. We're also going to provide with them a t-shirt. And if there's a way for friends to help in that and partner with that, and just helping dress up the courts where we'll be having the luncheon, please reach out to Monica Solorio. Any help would be much, much appreciated, just to make this a very special day for our kids and give our kids a time to reconnect with their peers and reconnect with their teachers, and closing off and finishing off 3 years at the middle school. And then on June 17th, from 9 a.m. to 12, we'll be having our promotion celebration, which we're really looking forward to. Last year was a great event considering the circumstances, and we look forward to this year being just as great as last year. And then summer school, I'd like to thank Principal Bowders for offering a very, very detailed piece about what our summer school is going to look like. You know, a lot of what we're doing, it's kind of like you develop 2 plans for summer school. A lot of it's dependent on what happens on June 15th, but with a focus on intervention and support for our most struggling kids, we've developed that model. We'll be following the same model, the same recommendations from our teachers for our struggling students, and being able to have that remediation and that intervention for learning loss. And then also looking at the potential, if things go well on June 15th, to be able to offer some enrichment pieces for our students in the afternoons to have a very well balanced approach. So those are the things that we have to look forward to the next few days, and also in the next few weeks. I want to thank friends again for their support, for Teacher Appreciation Week and being there and recognizing our teachers, and always being there to support our teachers and our students. So thank you all.
Yeah, I think the next thing that we wanted to talk about was our Lcap goals. And so the Lcap is the Local Control Accountability Plan. And this is a plan that historically was written each year by each separate school. And just as, you know, basically talking about our goals for the years ahead. And that this year is unique because this will be the first year that we are combining the LEAs, which is our schools will become one under Albert Einstein Academies. And so we'll still be 2 separate sites with separate staffs, but you know, the state will recognize us as one school. And so one of the things we want to make sure that our parents and community are aware of our Elk Cup goals. And they have been very similar over the course of the years. And I think Mr. Trackus and I will kind of go through these and just talk a little bit about you know, what our goals are for the years ahead. And the first is always to make sure that we continue to provide our IB curriculum, a rigorous IB curriculum with the proper instructional resources and materials needed for learning. And a big piece of this is really we were kind of on a hold a little bit this year for our professional development. IB training is one that often is always very exciting for teachers because they travel off campus and they're barely immersed in the IB culture through a 3-day training. And there have been some online resources, but we're able to look forward to really getting back to some travel for our teachers, hopefully where they can receive level 1 training in addition to, for our new teachers, in addition to more level 2 and 3 for training for our veteran teachers. So that's a big part of our IB goal, and to make sure that we allow enough time for our teachers to really dig deep into the development of the planners.
Then goal number 2, which is really an ideal, increasing overall achievement for all students across the board. That's something that will probably always be one of our goals, in the spirit of having that ideal of continually raising the bar for our kids and making sure that our kids are achieving at the very, very highest level. So that goal has been identified as a macro goal for us across the board.
And in addition to really focusing on closing that achievement gap, where we look at how our students who are performing compared, our subgroups are performing, which are our English language learners, our socioeconomically disadvantaged students, our students with disabilities, and to make sure that we are providing very targeted supports for those students so that they are able to perform as well as our, what we call all students, as our students as a whole. And so historically, those subgroups have not performed as well as if you look at the big picture of how our schools perform. And so that's an ongoing, goal for us as an organization.
And goal number 4, people like to talk about, they throw out the catchy phrase of having parents as partners. Well, this is really doubling down and being about that and making the connection and the bridge from school to home, and to be able to provide as many resources as we can to be able to support our parents, to be able to survey and to get as much information to see how we can really be about that, about having our parents be partners in what we're doing. And whether it be through parent universities or supports or at home or whatever, to make sure we talk about having a goal of making sure that all of our kids are connected, but offer the opportunities and the means and the resources necessary that every single one of our parents feels that they're connected to the school and have a voice.
And finally, it's always it's kind of a twofold goal. We kind of wrap it into increasing our average daily attendance, which is just the amount of kids who are on site every day. And that's kind of twofold in that, A, we want to monitor kids who are absent and find out what's going on. This is, again, one of those supports of, it's not just a consequence that you're not here. We have to dig and find out what's going on with the family if kids are not attending. So there's a socio-emotional lens to that. And then also making AEA a place where kids want to be. And so I think always making sure that, we having these spirit days, we make it a safe place to be. We are taking on No Place for Hate, which is a program that, we've done a year's sort of work as a school and professional development around anti-bias, anti-racist curriculum, and our teachers have been participating in that. And so we really want to continue that and make sure that our school and our students are a part of that. We started it with Safe School Ambassadors, which is a program in the elementary, and I think in middle we've done 4th and 5th in the elementary, where it's really using kids or teaching kids how to be upstanders and make sure that they don't just walk by if they see something that they feel is unfair to a student, that all students are treated with kindness. And so that's really a big piece of, what we're looking at next year is making sure we transcend that belief system and making sure all kids feel safe and welcomed at our school. And those opportunities for enrichment, bringing back field trips, we're really excited to kind of offer that back up again after this year of having to be creative with virtual field trips and opportunities for students to engage. But we will continue to make sure that AEA is a place where kids feel good about being. I think that is it for our LCAP goals. And what the LCAP goals look like is that we present again to the board. The board will either approve the LCAP goals and they become our kind of our pathway ahead and our journey at the next board meeting. They'll be up again as an agenda item.
Great, thank you, Principal Bowders and Principal Tracus. I think that's about it. We kind of sprinted through that in 30 minutes. And I think at this point, we can open up for questions. I think Ms. Montes was going to just remind folks about the protocol for the Q&A portion.
Terrific. Thank you, David. Good evening, community members. The following guidelines are for the public forum section of this meeting. Due to the virtual format of this meeting, we respectfully ask all attendees to adhere to the following guidelines to provide equity for all speakers. The raise hand feature will be enabled. It's located at the bottom of your screen under the reactions emoji where the smiley face icon is located. So if you have a question, you click on that icon and it will raise your hand on your screen. The speakers that will be called in the order that their hand was raised. Each speaker will have up to 2 minutes for their question or comment. Each speaker is limited to one question until all questions have been answered. When your name is called, please be prepared to speak. If you do not respond when your name is called, the next speaker will be called. Please speak slowly and clearly to accommodate translators. All chat functions will be disabled. The expectations for audience conduct: the following items will not be tolerated. Any verbal or written comments that are deemed abusive, discriminating, threatening, racist, vulgar, obscene, or harassing. Also, other verbal or written comments that will not be tolerated are libel, slander, or personal attacks of any kind, including the use of offensive terms that target specific individuals or groups. Spam, including content or pictures, will not be tolerated. Comments that include unsupported accusations, comments that suggest or encourage illegal, dangerous, or destructive activity. Thank you. And if you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll go ahead and announce the first speaker. Brad, do you see any hands raised yet?
I do not. Oh, we have one.
Okay, Nicole Hayes.
Hi there. Thank you for giving me the opportunity and for meeting with all of us. I'm the parent of 2 elementary school children, 3rd grade and 5th grade. So I have a couple questions. One is about asymptomatic COVID testing. That was discussed at the last meeting, but I haven't heard anything about that getting started. And then my second is kind of a question about the 5th grade promotion. We haven't gotten a lot of information about it, but based on what Greta's shared with us and what Andy's shared with us, it seems like there's a disparity between what the 8th graders are going to get versus the 5th graders. So I guess I have a question about that, why it's not similar. And then, you know, I know things are kind of changing a little bit, and if rather than a walk-up, kind of an outdoor ceremony or something to make this really special for the kids as possible. So thank you.
I think maybe Kathy, could you take the first question about the asymptomatic testing piece?
Yes, absolutely. Currently, San Diego County is in the orange tier, which is obviously we were in the red tier for quite some time, the purple tier before that. Taking us into the orange tier, it's based on how many cases per 100,000 in the county. And since we're in the orange tier, we are not mandated to conduct asymptomatic testing. However, we are mandated to take care of the symptomatic and response testing. And obviously symptomatic testing is if a staff member or student is showing symptoms and so forth. And we have rapid test vouchers on hand so that we can send that student or staff member to go get tested and then follow up with a PCR, which usually takes 24 to 48 hours for those results. If San Diego was to slide back into the red tier, then we would have to perform asymptomatic testing every 2 weeks. And so that would be obviously on staff and students that are not showing symptoms, and it would be the random testing. So we would have to perform that at an interval of every 2 weeks. But currently, why San Diego's in the orange, we're not mandated to do that, just the symptomatic testing. The good news is that we've also partnered with the state of California to conduct Binax rapid antigen testing on site. And our staff, we have 7 staff members that will be going through the training next Wednesday. And once that training is done, then we will actually have those rapid tests on site at both school sites. So in case a student was to come into the health office, they can actually be tested once the parent is contacted and gives obviously their approval. They can actually be tested right away. And we can have those results within 15 minutes. And that helps us, those rapid tests really help us with the contact tracing and knowing that if we have somebody that's positive, that helps speed up the process on how we can put the word out, not only to our community, but to also potentially that the group of students that are in their classroom, it's the, help me Greta, what's the name of the stable group? So it helps us with contact tracing on the stable groups. So hopefully that answers your question.
In terms of the promotions, both schools are mirroring what they did last year. And so I think just to note that the middle school is a drive-through promotion itself. And so elementary, it was going to be last year, it was kind of scheduled as a drive up, but what it turned out was kind of walk up. And so the classes all have that opportunity to be with the teachers as they get their certificates, but we are not congregating, on either campus during the promotion in a bigger group. And so maybe that was a bit of a disconnect or something that wasn't quite clear.
Thank you, Greta. Do you see any hands raised, Brad?
I do not.
Okay. Is there anyone else that has a question? The hand raise function is down under the reaction emoji at the bottom of your screen, or you can physically raise your hand and wave at us. I don't see any more hands raised. Brad, do you see any on your end?
Nope, no
Okay.
digital or physical hands.
Dr. Shred, I'll turn it back to you then.
Yeah, thank you. I think at this point, unless Roxy has any final words from friends, we'll wrap up a little earlier this week than we have in previous times, and just want to thank everybody for joining us, and look forward to as Mr. Treka says, fourth quarter, a few minutes left in the game, and let's make them count.
All right, well, thank you again, Dr. Sharetta and Principal Trackus and Principal Bowders and everyone else for being here. And we hope that we see you all at our next Open Friends meeting, and that is going to be on June 17th at 5:30. Thank you.